Hey guys, what's going on? This is my first episode of my podcast called Actually Anything, the podcast that's actually about anything. And today, my very first guest for my first episode is Brian Raleigh. That's how you pronounce his last name? I didn't want to pronounce his name wrong because that would sound very stupid. Should have asked him first, but I think I said it right.
Close enough, it's Raleigh.
Okay, so I did pronounce it
well, that's okay.
It's okay though.
Like at least it wasn't Rollins or...
Right, you've heard, you know what, like I'm used to
heard-
that, Brian, because I've had people pronounce my name Scene, and my name's Sean, you know, you guys know, S-E-A-N. You know, because I think the spelling throws people off, so
Right.
it's S-E-A-N. Normally, most people, I guess, are used to S-H-A-W-N,
Right.
things like that. And so I've gotten Scene, I've gotten C-Ann once at a doctor's appointment. I was like, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
My God. So Brian and I, we met, I think a few years ago. One of his bandmates, James Arlo, in the Primal Days. That's the name of their band. We met through James. I went to I think like just one of your shows. I checked the guys
Yeah,
out,
I
and
think
then
you did something.
just say yeah. The rest is kind of just history.
Yeah,
I've been doing a little photography for them. And yeah, so like I wanted to ask you, how do you because Brian here, he's in two bands. The other one is Wayward Strangers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're a keyboard player, right?
Yep.
But you also, so if you could see here, Brian has a few guitars. Actually, like a bunch.
Yeah.
5? What is that? Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guitars
That's
and one bass.
one is an acoustic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So.
But you're mostly like a keyboard player, though.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I started playing piano when I was about 5. The piano you saw downstairs
Right.
was a neighbor of my grandmother's, I think. That was like, we're moving. Like, I know you have small kids. I mean, this was like a while ago. Like I know your grandkids are small. Like, do you want or whatever? So, we took it, and I took piano lessons from about 5 to about probably about 12 or 15, and then I like quit for a little bit, and I was like, probably about 12, and then like I definitely quit for like at least a year, and I was like, I don't want to play classical music.
Yeah,
Classical music is
because that's technically all you could really do with a regular piano.
right.
And
Well,
the keyboard days come in, and it really changes the whole aspect of it.
right, and then so I started my freshman year of high school, and my band teacher was like, "Oh, I know you hate classical
Right.
music. Let's try and play." And I mean, to be honest, like in a concert band, it's very hard to have piano.
That's true.
It's not really like a main instrument in concert band. You usually play the xylophone or the bells or something.
Right,
like
it
that.
doesn't really sync well with like
Right,
a guitar
and at that
or like
point,
a drums. And,
right,
Yeah.
and, like at that point, I really wasn't that good. Not that I'm much better today, but yeah. So then he introduced me to jazz, and I was like, whoa, this is a whole nother beast. And I like totally fell in love with jazz. I still listen and play jazz. The Wayward Strangers, I guess the first.
They're more bluesy.
Like
kind of,
the
yeah.
right, the me and the Aquinos actually.
Was that another band you were in? Or?
The Aquinos that are in Wayward Strangers.
The brothers,
brothers.
right. Twins.
We went to middle school together, and we didn't go to the same high school, but in middle school we actually had like a little jazz band for like a little bit.
Oh, cool.
I think it was like
It's different. You don't really see that
in
too
high
much
school.
now,
Yeah,
you know?
and like I mean, we weren't really good at all, but
Something.
we actually played one day at school.
Or at the
But,
school, or
no, it was actually at my Boy Scout troop dinner.
Oh, I was in the Boy Scouts also.
We had like a dinner.
Troop 80. Shout out to Troop 80. It's sorry to interrupt.
No.
I sometimes miss being the Boy Scouts, but like our Scoutmaster wasn't always like the best, so I think that's kind of why I quit before I got like
Right.
high enough. But I miss it. Like we went at like Eagle Rock. That place. It's in like Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That was fun. But
yeah, like I was lucky enough to have a really good group of people. I was at a troop 2 right here on Main and Manager.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, like I went all the way through, and I could tell you, so most of my friends that I have now are from
really
guys. My very good friends. Because we've done things. I guess harder manual labor together. I guess.
Right.
Hiking and fishing and stuff like that.
Yeah, when you go through all that together,
right?
It's like life skills you're learning together.
Right.
That's cool.
So and we all have that in common. We all like to do that.
Right.
So it's really easy to be friends.
Yeah, it's kind of like a family, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had a good. I definitely had a positive experience. I'm sorry you didn't.
No, I know. Like I don't want to say it was bad. It's just I feel like it wasn't as good as most other. Like I can't really talk a whole lot about it like you could. One thing we did, which was you probably did it too. It was called like Beach something. We went to I think it was like Wildwood, I believe, and we basically everyone just camped out. Like all these different troops camped out on the beach. It was kind of cool. Yeah, it was really uncomfortable though. You wouldn't think, because you're thinking with the sand. It's like, oh, all right. But the sand is all kind of
moves, right?
bumpy. Yeah. It's all lumpy and shit, and it was just uncomfortable. Yeah. And there was sand in my clothes in my tent for like days. I hate sand sometimes. I like the beach though, But it was okay. But back to your the band life.
Yeah. So then. So then then in January of 2015. The Aquinos hit me back up. So we didn't even talk for probably from 2010. I guess that's when I started high school till 2015.
Right.
Which is just because we were in different schools. We were just doing our own thing, and they were like, "Hey, we're getting this band together. Why don't you come over to the basement and we'll
jam a bit.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do." And so that was really the kickoff to my, I guess if you want to call it more professional
cool.
Music career. And then James, I guess in January of 2017.
Is that when you met James, or?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you've only known him for 2 years?
2 years.
Oh, you see,
you
see, you guys seem like you've been friends for a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean that's really because one of the reasons
Steve too, and
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They all we all kind of came together at the same time. Or maybe I joined them in March or whatever. But yeah, they started in about January 2017. And it definitely took going through a few other people before we got our newest guitar player.
It's all about finding the right people, the right niche,
Right. And he's been it's he just fell off the truck and he just fits perfectly. So
he does.
So I was so happy that we found him, and now the band is definitely more complete. And
they're on Spotify, guys. Check them out.
Yeah.
James
Both
are
on
the Primal Days.
Spotify. The Weird Strangers we're tracking a new album.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, down at Moon Studios here on Staten Island. So.
Oh, are you talking about the one on Bay Street?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I actually I live right by there. I know the guy that owns it.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like a bigger, taller guy. Yeah, he has when you go there, he has that dog, right? The
Yeah,
black
yeah,
lab.
yeah, yep, yeah.
I used to remember that dog when he would bring it to the park when it was like a puppy. I think it's like a year or two old now. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
he teaches at the College Staten Island,
Oh, he does.
and that's how
cool. Music technology, or
right, yeah, something like that.
That's why I took it. It's cool.
And that's
That's
how the Aquinos found him,
Cool.
and yeah, so you know,
That
of
place
course,
has been there for years too.
right,
Yeah.
and he's actually tracked some pretty famous people.
Has he?
I forget who.
Oh, cool.
But, like some pretty famous.
You know, I have his card, and I know the guy. I've been meaning to go there, even to like record. You know, I might even go there to record actually anything. Maybe like a few times. You know, get some people to go. But because it's really for anything. I know you could you know, you guys practice there, I guess sometimes, or just record.
No,
or
we just record there. So we were like
because
really
I think it's good for
lucky.
podcasts too. It's just like something like that. You know, it's just
Right.
yeah. But
and like we were really lucky that the Aquino's dad had the studio at Snug.
oh,
So-
oh yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, so that's their
James,
place.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So James was working at a restaurant with a friend of the Aquinos who she also plays music. She plays in Jigsaw Youth. You know them?
Oh,
What's that now?
Nastasha?
Stop.
Oh yeah.
So so that's how James and the Aquinos met, and then you know,
That's
so I think I'm lucky enough to play in two bands that both practice in the same spot.
Yeah.
Because
So
if
don't have to go
you
out
because
of
if
the
you
way
see
or
this
anything.
keyboard, I know you've seen it in the case and
It's
stuff.
cool. It's definitely pretty cool.
Big, it's heavy, it's
Yeah, you see, that's another
really
thing I was gonna
annoying
ask
to
you,
move.
you know.
you know,
Guitars are one thing to carry around. Now, I'm not trying to act, look. I don't play an instrument, unfortunately. I tried taking up acoustic guitar because I at college, right? So it was my last semester. I had to take an elective, and I saw Guitar 101. I'm like, all right, whatever. And dude, I was getting into it. I actually had private lessons. So I think as the class was already filled up, but the teacher was nice enough to be like, you know what, I'll give you private lessons, you know.
Right.
And yeah, you know, like I was learning a bit from her, but then it just so I had this guitar. It was my dad's friend's, and instead of just, which I should have just done, instead of buying the guitar from, I didn't. You know, I was like, I figured out, you know what, maybe I'm not gonna play anymore. Maybe I'm not gonna. So why should I buy it? But I know if I did buy it, it just would have given me more reason to still play it. And you know, I'm kind of upset I didn't. I'm not saying I can't get into it now, you know, because I know people like you,
Right.
for instance, and others that you know play guitar. But I just wish I didn't. You know, I more or less gave up, and I was, you know, that was kind of stupid to do.
Well,
but,
the beauty
you know.
is that like you could always get back into it.
That's true.
You know, especially now with YouTube and whatever. Like, you know,
That's a good point.
there's so many videos you could watch and learn. And the one thing that I definitely encourage about learning music is that, you know, to be, I guess, proficient in most things, you need to know what you're doing, right? But music, you know, there's like a fine line. There's people that sound really good, don't have any idea what they're really doing, but are like, okay, this sounds cool, and those are like
comes naturally,
the people that learn off YouTube and do stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Then there's the people that like go more, have a formal education more about it, and those are the people that you could be like,
right,
B flat major 7 chord.
They know exactly what you're
and,
saying.
And
Like,
it's,
they don't
you
even
know,
have to think about
right,
it. It's like
it's
basically a second language. Like, yeah.
You know,
Pretty much
boom.
is, man. It really. When I
And-
was learning, it's
right.
It's a lot, you
it
know.
is.
But
It is,
yeah.
and I mean, it took me, like I said, I've been playing piano since I was 5 years old. I didn't
Yeah, piano's hard.
learn music
It's like one of the hardest
theory
ones.
until sophomore year of college.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I'm a fucking idiot. Like, the whole time I was like, I don't need this. Like,
yeah.
and it made playing piano so. I mean, it will make playing any instrument so much easier because it just opens up what you're doing, and it's like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense. So I mean, I would definitely encourage people who do play music and don't know music theory, go learn some music theory. You could find it online. You could, you go take a class at CSI for like $600 for the semester or something. Like $1,000 for the semester.
Is that what you went to CSI?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they have a good music program in that, because I know a
they
lot of
actually
people complain about the school in general.
Right. CSI, in my opinion.
It's okay. I work there. I do photography there.
I mean, it really depends. Again, like the Boy Scouts, I was very lucky to be in the Verrazano honors program there.
Okay. Yeah.
That they were very structured and made sure that I graduated on time, and that
That's
which good. I've heard stories of people who are a little more helpless and don't graduate on time. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's.
I guess graduating on time would be like a 4-year span.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there definitely is things that I didn't know that I thought CSI would have told me. But I mean, I must say, for the price you pay, I will say, at least in the business department. So I have an undergraduate degree in business management.
Oh, okay.
And in the fall, I'll be done with.
So you're still at school?
Right.
Okay.
I'll be done with my master's in strategic management.
Oh, awesome.
And I must say, they have some of the best business professors in at least on Sidon, if not in your city, because these people are adjuncts, and they're the I had the dean of Rutgers business school teach my economics class.
Oh, did he retire from Rutgers and went to CSI, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a weird. I guess maybe because you would think like Rutgers would be.
Right.
It's a bigger school.
There's people that professors that I know that are very distinguished in their field, make tens of millions of dollars a year doing data analytics and people that are very, like I said, very well known in their field, and that CSI. All right, they teach at CSI. I have one professor who actually he works for a company that is subcontracted by New York City to do all of their mapping for subway maps, but like satellite mapping. So what he does is he does mapping for all of New York City, and then uses the maps to help the city find better traffic patterns.
Okay.
And I mean, before this, he was the VP to AT&T for their.
It's definitely a big step up.
Yeah, for their international networks.
Okay.
So I mean, if you're willing to talk to these professors, that they're doing it because it's an extra $4,000 a semester for them. They're doing it because they really want to give back. They could be anywhere else.
It's not like they really.
Right. I mean, I think
about the
where
money,
you find the bad professors would be like in the gen eds, the classes where like astronomy, like the same lady's been teaching astronomy for 25 years.
Right, and then after a while, you're just
she's
you can tell they're just kind of fed up with it. It's like you might as well retire at that point if you're hating all your students.
Yeah. So, but I know that the business department really tries to get a lot of new people, in and fresh. So, like I said, I can only speak for the business department, but I know. The nursing program is also very good. Yeah. I know someone who...
I went to Seton Hall, and they had a good program.
I know someone who went to a very good college in the city, considered like one of the top 50 schools in the United States. and they're graduating, and now they don't even have high enough grades to be in the CSI nursing program.
Wow, really?
They actually got denied. They had to go to a different school, right?
So like if you go, if it's funny. I'm not trying to say CSI is like not a good school, but that's like one of the because it's a CUNY school, so it's not a big one. So if you can't go to CSI, then like where else would
right.
you go?
Well, the program is so selective. Like she could go to CSI,
Okay.
but
Maybe it's not what she wants to do specifically.
The nursing program itself is so selective,
okay.
and they push them so hard. And I know that
And nursing is like a 6-year thing too, right? Or
oh,
five, or it's long.
It's long,
Yeah.
and I so at work I have a buddy whose account is not Mount Sinai, one of the big hospitals, and he deals with nurses all the time.
Right.
And they get paid 120 grand a year, but they work so much.
I know.
They're like one of the most
underpaid. You see, that's the thing with college. So like yeah, when I was going to CSI, I knew people that were going for nursing, and just to even like you said, like it's a long program, but just to even go through all that, the classes are like unbelievable, man. You have to take these chemistry classes and biology and like all this.
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not saying like you don't need to know that stuff to be a nurse. But at the same time, do you really need to? I mean, like I don't know. Do they?
I don't know.
I know my
I'm not a
friend.
nurse.
My friend, he's a nurse now. I hang out with him sometimes. He talks. I mean, he doesn't. Not once has he ever really said to me, "Yeah, I really needed those classes to do what I do." I'm not saying his job's easy or anything, but but I think sometimes like they make you take unnecessary classes.
Right.
And that's the thing with college, it's
did
just,
I need to take,
I don't know.
4 semesters of calculus?
Right, like is it something they'll need after? I don't know.
And like it made sense to do the calculations to figure out what we were figuring out. But I mean, even the professor said, like, dude, like this is why we have computers. But, like you could do this in Excel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like
if I had to, because look, I went to college too. I did my 4 years. When I was there, my dad, he would make me sometimes take like six classes a semester, and I thought that was like ridiculous. I thought that was excessive. But little did I know that kind of more or less helped me finish on time, But like, so you kind of have to take at least 5 or so. Because my friend, my one friend, when he was at CSI, he only would sometimes take 3 to 4 a semester. So it took him. So he didn't graduate till like a year or 2 after me.
Right.
But that's not because his program was longer. It's just because he was kind of taking it
right
at a slower pace, And sometimes more people.
It's all about that, and I think that's why CSI does get a bad rap. I think CSI gets a bad rap because it's like
they kind of like allow.
But
they don't push you to.
Also, the majority of the people that go there because they have no other option. Right, like, and go there. I mean, like I personally went there because of a situation that I found myself in, that I wanted to graduate on time, and I had to leave another school that I was at, and so I found that was the best solution for me.
Right.
And I mean, I can tell you that spending 4 years. Actually, this is the 5th year I'll be at CSI. The set down mentality of people complaining and this and that.
I know.
It's like it really is the negative.
You need something different.
The negative.
It's almost like
people.
A bigger high school.
Right, but that all has to do with the people, and like I'm gonna tell you, in 5 or 10 years, CSI is not gonna. It's going to be totally different. They're not going to allow the Sal and Julies who drive their mom's Mercedes Benz to class and show up 2 hours late. And
right, just like thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah. And a lot. CSI is so divided. You have the minorities that come here, that work, that take advantage of it, and rightfully so. They totally should, and they do great, and
Right.
they excel, and they make CSI, in my opinion, shine. What other place, do you have? I mean, I think it's just an interesting place. Like
It is like Snug Harbor where they
right.
practice. For
Snug
instance,
Harbor has
one of the
been
coolest
there
spots.
since 1790 or something.
Yeah,
Like,
and we might record, like, if we do another episode, I could show you his.
We could record in the studio.
Yeah. Your studio is awesome, man.
And I mean, even that has, the Aquino's dad's bands. They've been in there since.
Yeah, I love the whole old school, like,
at least
posters and stuff.
At least
awesome.
35
That's
years
crazy.
they've been a band.
Crazy.
Like,
it's even like just a spot. Like, I like just going there. Like, even if like you guys aren't practicing, I would think it's a cool spot just to like sit and chill and just have like a beer or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like a nice little spot. You know?
And
it's so Harvard's cool.
100%, and I just think that growing up in Staten Island, you have a lot of people that are just so negative and so uptight, and
I know.
and I think that really brings down the quality of, oh, you're from Staten Island, and like, wow, okay, like, you must either have cancer, be a Guido, or
Jersey Shore kind of ruined that
right,
kind of
like
reputation.
and
even though only like 2 of them were from there, like, I don't know. So.
Right, but I'm a firm believer that things are what you make it, and if you're gonna work hard and you're going to, put in the time and effort, like, it really doesn't matter if you go to NYU or you go to CSI, because there's people in CSI that do, the same exact things, get the same exact jobs, get the same exact, because they went to NYU or
right.
Right. So I think the one thing that CSI really does lack, and this is something that in the next year, well, I guess in the next 9 months, but we've been talking about it for a while now with some people at CSI, is getting the school more involved in, internships. Internships, I think, are just the one thing that CSI really does lack in terms of,
like, just giving you the opportunity to get
more. I don't think that they don't.
It's ironic too, because we're right by Manhattan.
Right. They don't. I just don't think that they have a network set up, and I know for a fact that they don't, because this is something that I've been trying to bring and talk to a couple people out, at CSI about.
Right.
And then I think that's also what gives people bad names. Oh, I went to CSI and now I don't have a job. Well, there's 30,000 other schools that are going to put you in the same boat. Situation.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm like
college debt,
Yeah, I got lucky with that. Right. My dad was able to pay my college off, but but I don't really have a steady job. I work at CSI sometimes. I do photography, and it's kind of, maybe I don't want to say I chose the wrong field and stuff, but I guess I chose communications. That's what I did, broadcasting. Originally I was trying to get into radio and stuff like this. But this podcast, for instance, is really the closest thing I could do to radio now, because trying to get onto radio stations in the city is tough. Where I messed up, and I could have done it, was trying to just apply for an internship in the city. Right. But I think I didn't want to go through all the trouble of having it, because Z100, for instance, you could be an intern there, but they want you there at least 5 in the morning. And from Seton Hall, that's a little
Long Island or
New Jersey, in South Orange. So we're near a train station, right? That will take you into the NJ Transit. Takes you right into the city. But the thing is, like I said, you have to be there at 5 a.m. I'm not a morning person. I can barely get up for the fucking morning classes. Imagine an internship 5 days a week. Right. So but you know what? I don't want to say I messed up either, because at the same time, a lot of these radio stations, they've been letting people go, and they don't really hire new employees because they don't make a whole lot of money like that to just keep paying people. You know what I mean? Like, so they kind of just keep who they've had for years. You know, and just like their old talent. Yeah, so that's why like I kind of gave up trying to do that, but that's why, like, you know, I'm just starting the podcast. I think, you know, a lot of people are doing that nowadays. I'm not trying to jump on some sort of bandwagon, but no, I totally get it, man. Like, internships are very important. I definitely should have gotten one.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you, I had zero. You know, but by by the time I was going to CSI full time, I was also running the store and you know, doing all that.
Oh, Eggers,
so,
right?
Yeah, right. So.
Oh yeah, we should mention, by the way, right down the block there, because we're at Brian's house, right? And they own this place on Staten Island called Eggers, and it's a dessert place, ice cream, candy, you name it, you know. Now, did you guys? That's your own, like you named it that? You started it, or
no. So
you bought the business?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's been around since 1932.
Really? And it originated on Staten Island?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
a German couple, immigrants, came over here in 1930.
Right.
And
that's where they opened it? It just happened to be. Oh, you opened it there.
No.
Oh.
So they opened up a like a chocolate. It was first just chocolates.
Okay.
And it
just strictly chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was over on Broadway and Castleton.
Okay.
Then it moved to Broadway, to Forest and Barrett, over where Telco is.
Okay.
Like,
how many locations are there? Because I know there's one in historic Richmond Town.
Right.
So there's 3?
That was the.
Oh.
This is like the sequence of the original store.
Okay.
So then they moved up to here in 1980.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the original location of the first store, but it's not the first location.
Right.
But yeah, so my sister owns it. You know, I must say, for a 29-year-old woman, she you know, is really in like setting like, I think, in my opinion, because I work in business and it's mostly men, that she is setting a very good role model. I think she does very well, and I think, you know, she is setting the future of what business should be. You know, on Staten Island, majority, I can tell you because I deal with a lot of business owners on Staten Island, majority of them are male.
That's true.
They're 50.
Especially the Italian restaurants.
They're 50, 60, 70, you know. They're
so
older people, so
you know?
to have a woman who's 29, who this is our 5th year owning it, has opened up three locations in 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I think that really just says it all. So, you know, I'm.
And sometimes, like, you work
right.
There, like,
So, like I said, I went to CSI. I took 6 classes.
Like in business,
Yeah. So I took 6 classes a semester to graduate on time.
Okay.
I think one semester.
Right, I did. Yeah. It's a little much at first.
I think even one semester took 8 classes. Because I
no,
was
you did not.
trying to get a major, double major in music, which I just didn't.
Okay.
Because
double majors are tough. You see, like,
because I didn't.
I had a minor. I had a minor in music technology, which I think you've probably taken.
Yeah, I took I took a couple. Like, I think I'm really one class away from the minor in music.
Yeah. Well, that's what they got Moon Studios teaches, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So from September 2014 to about January 2019, I worked at Forest Avenue. right here.
You just
and-
walk right. He could
and-
literally
right,
like walk.
I
It's like 2
had-
minutes away. It's
Like,
like, not even.
I had the best commute. Like I tell people that I got my job now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's great.
it's a 12-second walk. Like
Literally, yeah. I said a
like,
minute, and I was exaggerating.
Yeah. Like, but I mean,
No
like
traffic,
I had
no bullshit.
right. You don't even have to find a parking spot.
Exactly.
And that was one of the reasons that I didn't really work in Richardtown that much, because I was like, well,
Right.
you're gonna have to
I
pay
love
me
that place too.
commute because
You know what's funny? I actually went there. It was like literally like 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, just opened
And-
up.
Yeah, and because my friend, he was like, yeah, let's go to historic Richardtown. I'm like, oh, okay. And we were so upset because he wanted ice cream so bad, and I was like, okay, and it was open, right? But both of us, for some reason, we just didn't have cash on us. I don't know why. And
They
then,
have an ATM.
do they?
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't say that though. Because I don't know, because we went and she was like, "Oh, it's cash only." We were like so sad, but we went somewhere else. But like I was trying to tell him, I was like, "Dude, this is so good, we got to get it." But then
Now
I don't know why I just didn't have any.
in the courthouse. Did you go inside the main building?
I not that day, but I have
No, but
before. Yeah.
Now,
History, all of that.
my sister just opened up another like
Oh, she did.
candy store.
Oh, in there.
In there, in there. So like she's like slowly taking over Richmond Town.
That's fucking great. They might as well call it Eggertown. Yeah.
Eggertown.
You know what? She should open one. I'd suggest on Bay Street by my house.
Well, that was my next.
Oh, is it actually?
That was my next
I
announcement.
really hope you do. Oh, this is
May 17th, we will be opening up the third location in Irby.
Oh, in Irby. Cool. Yeah. It's right by the apartments.
Yeah.
Irby
So,
is nice.
I mean, it's
great, man.
it's open to the public, just like the restaurants are. And,
Right.
And they were nothing but
Good idea, man. Irby's
nice to
perfect.
us, man. They were so nice.
They were well. They were like.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, because they're probably looking for more businesses
right.
to have there.
And you know,
It's such a cool spot.
It is, and
Yeah. You ate at Surf, so I think you can throw it.
Seppi's very good too. The pizza place they just put down there.
Oh, I didn't. You know, I gotta go by there again because I only went that one time to go like to that restaurant.
Well, you know what? May 16th is the. Sorry, you guys can't come to this, but you can come. To
because it's on the grand opening. It's kind of
May 16th is like the ceremonial soft opening.
Okay.
It's Thursday if you're free. Seriously.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, you know, I'll definitely do that.
Since it's right down the
Sorry,
block from
guys.
your house. But May 17th.
More or less, yeah. I mean, I would more or less have to drive or ride my bike or something. But
now they have 3-hour valet parking.
Oh, they do. Oh,
free,
they do.
Free.
Yeah.
3-hour free
Cool.
valet parking.
That's awesome.
That was one of the stipulations when my sister went in there. She was like, I love you guys have 2-hour valet parking, but
I used to do valet.
For me to be a tenant, I need 3-hour valet parking.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. So I'm very excited about that. And you know, the next I think the next move for her and you know, the business would be to get more of a stable place that we make the ice cream.
If anything, you know, it'd be cool.
Right in the back of forest, so like
right
where we make the ice cream, like especially with Richmond, they eat 200 bucks a day out there.
See, I wanted to ask, what's the hardest part about maintaining like a business like that? Especially like with all the stuff you have ice cream, candy,
So,
you have to worry about it not going bad.
The biggest thing with
know?
ice cream,
Yeah.
and like people are like, oh, ice cream's easy, ice cream's this, ice cream's that.
What about in the summer though?
When you make your own ice cream, so I feel like we should probably let off with this. So we make our own ice cream.
You've had some inventions too. I know you've named. Haven't you like created some?
Yeah. Of course.
Get a little experimental.
Right.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, Guinness ice cream. You know.
Oh yeah.
Of course,
beer?
Irish, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know.
Sounds fucking delicious. Actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But
cool.
you know, I'm a master ice cream. I'm a certified master
Connoisseur.
ice cream maker. I've made over 50,000 batches of ice cream.
No, oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, no, I know a lot about
So
it.
like fuck Carvel.
Well,
Sorry, Carvel.
well, the thing that I don't like
Well,
about
I just lost a sponsor
Carvel,
now.
right? Maybe they could sponsor us in like a like an ice cream war. They could like.
Oh man, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so the thing that I don't like is that their new thing is America's freshest ice cream, which I could tell you, not because my family owns it. I mean, there's thousands of.
Do you have the egg shirt on right now?
No,
it
looks
it's the
like
same
it.
color.
Yeah,
It does.
It's there's thousands of places that do it just like us.
Right.
I can tell you that within 3 days of me making the ice cream, one of them is a whole day that the ice cream needs to freeze. So we'll get into that in a second. But from 3 days that the ice cream is made and put into the bucket, the ice cream is consumed. And in my opinion, that is, again, we'll get into it right now, but that is the freshest ice cream you could pretty much possibly have.
Okay.
So when we talk about ice cream, because now I'm going to put my nerd ice cream hat on, there's of course two types of ice cream. Do you know the two types?
Chocolate and vanilla.
This guy's funny. No, hard and soft, right? So the twist, stuff that comes out of the machine like that, and then hard ice cream is stuff you scoop.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're two totally different animals. One is composed of mostly air. That's soft serve. That's why when you push down on the lever, it comes shooting out.
Oh, right.
And that's why it's a lot lighter.
And the hard is like when you scoop it out,
hard
put it in like a cup or
is more milk based. It's more filling. And
it's like thicker.
Right.
Yeah,
so there are two different processes. There are two different types of ice cream. Then on top of that, to go further, my comparison with ice cream is always very much that it's like beer. Anyone that is somewhat of a beer drinker. Oh my god, my phone. It's just my mom. I'm that cool.
Wait, did you just hang up on your mom though?
Oh, it's alright.
We're doing the pie. Yeah, so sorry.
But yeah, so beer is very much like ice cream. Ice cream is very much like beer in the fact that
like how you make it.
There's
process.
Many different kinds. So like if I was going to compare a Bud Light to a Brooklyn Lager, there's no comparison.
Right.
You're not. So to compare, Egger's ice cream to the Richmond Creamery's ice cream, for example, that's the new spot up next to the Kettle Black.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even there could be two different types of ice cream. It's how much percentage milk fat you use, right? So if you're below 14% milk fat, you're considered hard ice cream. If you're between 12 and 16, you're considered you can be considered a creamery. If you're between like 14 and like 20, you're considered custard. So if you notice, there's a little overlap in the middle.
So you got Rita's, which is like they're big on their custard.
Right. So, but people call it ice cream.
Okay.
And it's not. It's custard. It's
right. Like you wouldn't call beer wine. You wouldn't call beer.
You wouldn't call a lager
like vodka. Like
you wouldn't call a lager.
An IPA.
An IPA.
Yeah.
Saison.
Okay, I got you.
But it's I think it's more prevalent in beer that it's Brooklyn Lager. Okay, well, it's a lager. Whereas the Richmond Creamery is named Richmond Creamery, I know for a fact, not to shit talk them, that their ice cream doesn't fall, their percentage of milk fat does not fall within the technical creamery percentage. It's
Okay.
below 14% or 16%, or
Right.
whatever I said it was, and so for me, that's kind of an issue. It's a lot of ice cream being
So it's almost like false
misrepresented.
advertising, like,
Right,
in a
and
way.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing with Carvel, right? Their hard ice cream, they use about 10% milk fat. We use 14% milk fat. So
Okay.
the higher you go up in milk fat, the more expensive it is. So we've been 14% since we've opened, and we're probably gonna stay 14%. The craziest thing that I think about, like I've had the privilege to read the original recipes from 1932 written in German. I had to sit there on Google to translate
translate everything.
and
wow.
they had been translated already.
Well, I like that you guys.
But I just
that's
wanted
cool.
to. So
Kind of keeping the tradition.
right, and so it's proper that a member of the family is kind of the historian of the traditions and reads all of the stuff that has been passed down. There's like a book like this big filled with all different stuff that dating back to the original owners. So it's really a piece of Staten Island as well. But yeah, so we've used the same recipes. Literally nothing has changed. Like, it's so funny that all of our distributors too, or for the most part, like we're all came up around like 1928, 1930, and then we came into business. So
you see, that's why it's kind of perfect that you're at historic Richmond Town, because Eggers more or less is kind of a piece of history on Staten Island.
Right,
so like you could have not have picked like a better place to kind of
and
be,
And I mean, we're happy to be a part of hopefully the next generation of Richmond Town.
Yeah.
I know that they're going through. They're making a lot of changes, and they're trying to get more people to come.
Yeah, right. Well, I just went to it recently. They had this barbecue cook-off. I did a video about it.
Yeah,
they really had all these
the
chili. I missed it. Oh, I was so upset about that. But the barbecue cook-off was cool. They had just a bunch of guys cooking different types of pork. Pay to get in, but then you just try everything free.
Right.
Oh, and some of the oh my god, it was like some of the best food I've ever had. It was like insane. And I think these are a lot, and they weren't even all from Staten Island. Like these one guys came from like Montreal, Canada.
Wow.
Some guys came from some parts of New Jersey or just Pennsylvania, other places, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. And they came all the way just to, but a lot of them, I was interviewing them. A lot of them were talking about how they do these businesses, they've been doing it for a while, and they entered like different competitions from different places and stuff. Because that's kind of more or less what it was, and probably the chili thing was probably like the same thing. You can make the best,
Right. And I mean, like I said,
it's really good.
Working and managing in a small business for 5 years really, put my perspective into like a small business. Like, these guys are probably all small businesses.
Yeah.
Need to network, need to do stuff like that in order to get their name out there. And the guys from Montreal, I guarantee you, one person might go to Montreal this year from
right. They probably have like a big team, but they just have to send a few guys.
Right. But it's definitely, in my opinion, worth it.
I wanted to mention, so at the location right there, you had this fundraiser for our friend. I made a video about it too. Our friend Mark Carls. I went to high school with him, and you did this fundraiser for him there, and it was really nice because I know he's. I think he's doing a lot better. Our friend, he was at the time he had like stage 4.
So Mark and I, it was funny. We met for the first time that night. So
you did?
Yeah. So I went to high school with his brother Dave, who is actually I don't even think we were in high school at the same time, but we were on the same bus, and like we were just friends, and like he was just like kind of like my the older brother that I never had on the bus, and like he always like took care of me and stuff, and
nice.
yeah, and then
Where'd you go to school again?
Patrides.
Oh, Patrides.
So like
yeah.
so I would be in like
Oh, that's how you know my friend Joe
grade.
Cusimano, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like I'd be in like 6th grade, and you know, David being like 8th grade or whatever, and we'd be on the same.
Okay.
Right. So right. So
Nice.
when I saw that, I was like, you know what, Dave was always so nice to me. I mean, I didn't speak to Dave. I mean, like we were friends on Instagram, but like I didn't speak to Dave then in probably 4 or 5 years. And I reached out and I was like, dude, like, I'm so sorry. Like, if there's, you know, I'm sure you guys are overwhelmed. Like,
so it was kind of last minute doing that, right?
Yeah, like,
and the turnout was amazing, dude. I couldn't believe how many people were there.
I mean, that was for sure
Yeah.
the most amount of people that have been in the store at one time.
Wow.
But yeah, so he had stage 4 cancer on his liver.
Scary, man.
There's a long name for it.
Right.
And
you know what's bugged out about that too, because and I know it to be true, because you know he said he's never like drank in his life.
Well,
so like
that was the kicker.
It's insane, like you know,
and
it's liver cancer. You know, some people could drink like they're like fish. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just disgustingly, and never get liver cancer. Right. So it's weird. Like everyone's body just works differently. It's just
right. And like,
it's like why him though?
That was kind of the kicker, was that he never drank or smoked.
It's weird.
Before.
I don't get it.
You know, but yeah. So luckily we were between the GoFundMe that I started and the store fundraiser.
Yeah.
I think we raised over 50,000.
Wow. Just from that one night, or just altogether? Like donations online. And
the
wow.
The GoFundMe, because I was sitting there at work one day. I was like, wait, if we're gonna do this, and then slowly people were like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. Like, is there gonna be like a donation jar? I'm gonna do this, we'll do that. I was like, well, fuck it, let's not stop there. Let's make GoFundMe. So like, it took me like 5 minutes.
Cool. Right, because like not everyone could just go and just try the
right. Or someone was busy, or someone was doing right. So,
right. Okay.
So yeah, no. So I believe that I haven't checked the GoFundMe in a while, but right now, and we raised enough money for him. And I mean, like, that was only a fraction of what everything was going to cost, but at least we were able to help out. And he had, I think, 2 pretty invasive surgeries.
I know. I actually saw this picture. He had like literally like a cross. It's crazy, but I think he's okay now.
Right now, you know, he last time I spoke to him, he said that there was no trace of cancer.
Wow.
You know, and
that's amazing how they managed to do that.
I mean, not
everyone's so lucky, you know.
Not because we raise money, but I mean, you know, the saddest thing is that if, you know, for people that don't have the resources that he had, and he got, you know, the best help in the world. Yeah. Someone wouldn't have been fortunate to survive that at 26. You know, and that's something that at my new job at Aflac, right? I don't know. People don't really know what we do. They just say, "Oh, your car insurance or this or that." No. Right. We do supplemental insurance policies for people, and the plan that put us on the map to be a Fortune 500 company was the cancer plan. Wow. And I mean, people say, "Oh, insurance is a racket. This is that." I mean, I've been in the office. I had a lady literally break down in tears, get off the phone, break down in tears next to me, because a cancer policy she sold 5 years ago. You know, this lady's gonna get like $60,000. You know, and the point being is that no matter what level of cancer you have, you want to go to the best person and get it treated correctly and get it and unfortunately, like, I was in a seminar not too long ago about this, and a consultation, just have a conversation with Sloan Kettering on what you should do is 10 grand.
My dad kind of had a scare with it too, because he's got like the Irish skin, right? So and in all his life, he loves the beach, loves the tan, and it caught up on him, so like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, he actually got. Now he's always gotten like little bits of skin cancer, right? But it was always like his skin doctor was always able to like to treat it, So maybe he got a little spot here, he can take it up.
Right.
But then one day he just got it like really bad, where he actually had to spend like a week in the hospital, maybe a little longer. And then, well, yeah, actually he spent a few days, went home, and they gave him this like vacuum thing. It was like really, it basically sucked out the cancer cells, I think, and it's really weird, but it was kind of like a vacuum, and it just, I don't want to say like, because like there's more to it, but it basically just cured him, and so and he saved his life, and it's crazy like what they could do nowadays with just like for Mark, for instance, like they were able to save his life, it's
I mean, he had
not everyone's that lucky.
He had cancer all over his body.
Yeah, oh my God,
and like you said, he was just such a nice kid, such a good kid.
I know.
Like,
I'm not saying like some people deserve it, but like I think the wrong people get it.
Right. And like that's kind of no one deserves it, but I mean, the kid that bullied you in school, I'm actually, it's funny, the bands that that I was listening to when we were setting up Jack's Mannequin.
Oh yeah.
Put me on to. He had cancer at like same thing, 26, and that stunted his career for a little bit. And I mean, thankfully he got a stem cell transplant, and he's been cancer free for 15 years. But that now him and his foundation, Dear Jack, really got me, thinking and interested in. It's called AYA, adolescent and young adult cancer.
Oh,
right. So it affects people from I believe it's 15 to 20 or 15 to 39 or something like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like losing it right now, but something like that. And 70,000 people a year in the U.S. in that age group don't get diagnosed, and that age group has the least amount of funding, the least amount of research done on even the most popular types of cancers in that age group, because what they're finding out is that it's typically not breast cancer. Like Mark's type of cancer was 1 in 5 million people.
See, that's the thing. We're still not really sure like what exactly causes it in the first place, right? Because like if you drink a lot, if you smoke a lot, like that could cause cancer. But how does cancer come about in the first place?
Well,
I
think
guess
there's
it's like with
research
anything.
on that.
I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, I'm not too well versed in it, but I think there is. But I think that there's very different types of cancers. Like I said, like Mark has had one that affected his liver, and 1 in 5 million people get it. Now, I'd say that more than 1 in 5 million people get your standard liver cancer, right, from drinking or whatever. But this was a different species almost. So in this age group of AYA, you have you definitely have more rare cancers that they don't know how to treat,
Okay.
which of course becomes more expensive.
Yeah.
And if 70,000 people in that age group a year,
It's really a year every year, huh?
yeah,
Wow.
are affected, it's a big deal. So I encourage everyone to look up the Dear Jack Foundation. Me and my girlfriend went to. He does a Dear Jack benefit concert every year.
Oh, cool. On Staten Island? Or?
No, it travels
Travels?
all around the country. So this year
Cool.
was in Boston.
Oh, nice.
We went up, but yeah. I mean, I feel like just as a person, it's good to support at least one cause, and
Oh yeah, 100%.
I feel that this cause affects definitely people in my age group and your age group, and it's something that people don't really take into consideration, because of course it's tragic when a younger kid gets cancer. I mean, childhood cancer is awful, obviously, and I mean cancer at any age is awful, but this specific age group is really needs to be recognized and shown, and I want to be surprised if I found myself looking back on this video in 15 or 20 years, standing in an office where I was, helping people of that age group, with certain situations.
You know what's really nice? It's what's today's date?
Well, we're not sponsored. We have to take this off.
And I wanted to bring something up because we were talking about Eggers down there, and when I was driving here trying to find a spot, we saw some Made in New York trucks, and so they've been filming Wu-Tang here.
Right.
So Wu-Tang, which I actually saw Wu-Tang a few nights ago on my birthday. My birthday was April 25th,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
happy birthday!
Thank you, my man.
I know I texted you, but
no, I appreciate it. Yeah, and they were playing. So they did this thing of mics and men. It's a little documentary for the Tribeca Film Festival.
Yeah.
So they showed. It's gonna be on like Showtime, but they showed like 2 or 3 episodes about the documentary. Like awesome, basically learning like everything about Wu-Tang, how they met each other, how they started, how they like even though like Staten Island wasn't really a big place, but they made it. They kind of put it on the map, especially in the '90s. Like they made it like a thing. Because they're all most of them are from Staten Island.
And I mean
they kind of like created all their work here, and it's really cool. Shaolin, that's how we got like Staten Island got that Shaolin nickname. It was a great show. But so now they've been filming this. I thought it was gonna be a movie, but it's actually a TV show. It's gonna be on Hulu, I think. I wish it was just on regular TV. Whatever. It's called The American Saga, right? And it's from what I think it is. So it takes place in like early '90s. And
so it's a show. I thought it was like a documentary.
That's what I thought too. So they have actors portraying them as when they were younger, before they kind of like became Wu-Tang Clan. Right. So for instance, I actually did an episode for this show. I want to do it again because, like I said, they're always filming on Staten Island. Sometimes when I do background work, I have to go far to like other boroughs and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So they at Snug Harbor, like we mentioned before, they've been filming there. And they were doing this for this one episode. So basically, it's supposed to be an Eric B. and Rakim concert. 1991 is the setting. So like, so sometimes on these sets they'll tell you if you didn't get a fitting already. They're like, yeah. So this is the year. They'll send you a picture of like how you should dress and stuff. Right. So I was like, oh come on, 90s. I just wore a denim jacket. Like these jeans, and yeah, I was good to go. I didn't even have to change. Yeah, it was cool. So like, basically, I was in the crowd with a bunch of other people. They filmed that because Snug Harbor, it's theater, it's music, it's got art.
So they filmed it in one of the theaters.
Yeah, like that parking lot when you first come in, and it's like it's right next to that parking lot. It's like that theater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've done, yeah. And yeah, so they had it all set up like it was like a concert, and I was basically just in the crowd. But I tried to be in the front, so like I'm in the first 4 rows, like the fourth row. So maybe you'll see me, but like regardless, I did help with it, so it's kind of cool to just say that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, of course. I mean, I know.
So I wonder what they're doing there, though.
I know that they were down on Forest and Barrett, like I was saying, where the other Eggers was at.
Oh yeah.
One time there's a record store down there.
Oh, so maybe
they were filming.
Store,
yeah, someone was telling me that they had stuff all set up. They're definitely filming in the Drunken Monkey.
Like the bar. Yeah.
It's obviously not called the Drunken Monkey in the show.
Right.
But
it's amazing how they set up.
I think that because I believe that place is just like
it's like an old bar.
It's like it's probably used to funnel money somehow. No one ever goes in it, dude. Like they have the same like 15 people in there, like all the time. Like
they're helping out you see, that's kind of like what we were basically talking about. Like it's like it's all about like small businesses kind of getting it. Like they could have, but maybe Eggers looks too modern. So maybe
I don't know.
Or maybe not. No, it's kind of that retro look.
Definitely like if you
it's been around since 1932, so technically it's not really modern.
Right, but it's been we had on the wall, but then when we did the renovation, we took it down. But it should go back up. There was a couple movies shot in this location.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which ones? That's cool.
There was one
cool.
like.
Was it before you guys were like working?
Yeah. But yeah, there was an article actually written by my sister when she was a waitress there, and she also worked for. They probably don't have it anymore, but in the Staten Island Advance, they had like a section called Flip, and it was like teenage articles or whatever. And so she worked for them too, and she also worked at Eggers, and she wrote an article when they were filming one movie there. And it was funny because like it was up on the wall even before we bought the store.
That's cool. Yeah, you know, I remember when I went there, I was looking at some of the articles you had.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I was. You see, I remember you mentioned it before. That's been around since 1932. But I think I remember now when I was there, I read about that. I was like, oh fuck, like it's been around that long. But that's great. You know, it's awesome. Like Staten Island is very, like honestly, if you ever come here and go to historic Richmond Town, you go on a good day, you'll get these guys dressed up, kind of how they used to, and they'll basically describe like I went there a few days ago, and some things I should have known already, I learned for the first time. Like they were saying how Staten Island, because it's called Richmond County.
Right.
That's all it really was. It was its own thing. It wasn't even a part of New York, apparently.
Oh no.
It wasn't a borough. It's one of the 5 boroughs, you know, but it wasn't.
There's been a couple of times where Staten Island has actually tried to secede from New York City because if you're from Staten Island, you know that the more south you go, the more the less Staten Island it is, and the more like Jersey it is, right? So for there's a lot of rules and laws that may apply in a more urban setting like Brooklyn or Manhattan, you know, or Queens, but on Staten Island,
you know, we are an island.
They might not, you know, they might not. Like for example, we have a large population of deer here. Right,
which we shouldn't, because you know we're in it's basically a city.
So, New York City, you can't hunt. I mean, regardless, I probably wouldn't want people hunting here on Staten Island myself. But you know, we have because that would just more so.
Because we have a lot of public parks here. You know, before you know, you're gonna be walking your daughter,
Boom.
skipping along terrible.
But you know,
but we kind of need to because, like, in a way,
like I feel like
they're running into traffic.
And we don't drive fast enough to kill them. No. That's the problem. So it wrecks your car.
It does.
And then it like hobbles away.
Also, my concern too, because I love to go to the parks and you know I have a dog. Shout out to Patty the cocker. Patty. But you see, another problem with the deer is that they have these deer ticks, right? And like now Staten Island, I think this, because of the deer, is because of why we have like a rise and growing of tick population.
Well, there was an
And
article.
ticks are,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
you
I
saw
read
that,
it.
right?
It's fucked up, dude, and it's really because my dog actually got Lyme disease. I've had a tick on me before. In one place, I still get chills from thinking about where it was, where I found it. Do you really want to know where I found it?
Where you found it?
Yeah,
Oh,
in a very
man.
It's bad though. I didn't get Lyme
How
disease, so I
deep
was
was
lucky. It wasn't bad. I was able
It
to
was
get it.
just
Yeah,
pull it
yeah.
out?
But it was like, fuck me. But like
And I've seen people where like you gotta burn like I've like
yeah, it's bad.
been right there when someone's
Hmm.
burning a tick.
I was freaking out. I was like, bye, like everything. I was good though. I took an antibiotic. I don't know.
Right.
But
No, but
the deer are definitely bringing him here, and it's
right,
the problem.
and
You know, it's just
and they've tried a lot of things, and I mean not to get even too political, but they're paying these specialized doctors, I guess you want to call them, or that try to come up with these strategies to try and limit the number of deer here on Staten Island, and you know they've paid them like I remember reading something. It was like these guys were getting paid for like $100,000 for like 6 months of work of like shooting these deer with birth control. And
oh yeah.
right, and like
Oh, wow.
it just didn't work.
No.
Like they just didn't didn't get enough of them. And being at CSI, like I see them. Sometimes
Or
they're
if anything,
tagged. Sometimes they're not tagged.
Right.
So and more, like I've been seeing deer that are not tagged, which means that those are new deer.
Okay.
Right. So
yeah, you know, you see the fawns, and you're like, you know, like so they're clearly this, and they mate like crazy, don't those things, don't they?
right.
Yeah.
So you know, see, I always find that Staten Island is a place that is very interesting because the fact that you know the North Shore is a little bit more Brooklyn-esque. The South Shore is definitely very more
busy.
New Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. That's
very
true.
like
yeah.
you have your shopping centers, more or less where you know
There's more greenery, I guess.
Right.
You know?
And
oh yeah, what am I talking about? The North Shore is definitely like the busier part, but
well,
there's a lot more going
like
on.
Business.
That's true.
Like,
yeah, like
South Shore is
more houses and stuff
more
too.
residential.
Yeah. That's why there's not a whole lot going on sometimes. Like Staten Island here, and like I think it has part to do with that. Staten Island has had, and still kind of does. We've had like a very bad drug problem.
Oh yeah,
here,
we
like
have the
heroin.
highest.
And
right. So think about this. Staten Island has more people than the state of Wyoming, and is like something like Wyoming is like 175 times bigger.
That's
Staten
crazy.
Island, at least.
But yet we have a more.
But yet.
It's more of a problem here.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
You know, it's sad. And
it's preventable though. You know, see that's the thing. It's just.
And I mean, yeah. I mean, I would agree with you with just like anything else, education. You know, exposure to like you know
who you hang out with.
I remember when I was in school. Every year we had an assembly, and this detective showed pictures of his friend. He was coming out of Joe Broadway's on Forest Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
His friend was a cop, got hit by a drunk driver, got shot up into the telephone poles, right? Came down on the wires.
Oh my god!
And was like sliced in like six pieces. And he's showing us on like a big screen, like just like chunks of this guy's body, and like
it's like a little graphic, but it's
right.
Kind
of the moral of the story is don't drink and drive, right?
Yeah.
And you know, it registered to me and my friend. Me and my friends don't do that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, regardless of the video, we wouldn't do it just because
I guess it's like to send a message, but at the same time, it's like.
But I mean, I think exposure to what can happen and what has happened, and continuing education of this shit is just gonna wreck your life.
Yeah.
It is definitely a way to try and prevent it. I just feel bad because not that we waste, but something like this does absorb a lot of taxpayer dollars. And
true.
Me and you pay taxes. I would hope you guys pay taxes. And I mean, not to sound like a conservative Staten Islander because I'm not, but I mean, I would rather prefer my taxpayer dollars go, not have to go towards that.
Right, it's like maybe like improving the streets. Like,
right,
how many potholes we have?
Right, but I'd prefer if we didn't even have to.
Right, like it shouldn't even be a problem.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
We even have signs like you could see signs like they're yellow and it says.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope stop drug abuse. Blah blah blah.
Right,
And it's fucked up, man.
And the craziest thing is that like it really is like people's sons that
Yeah, you see that's the thing with Staten Island. It's kind of like yeah. Like I could go.
I mean, there's 500,000 people. I mean, I walk into a bar. I mean,
there was one day where we randomly bumped into each other, and yeah.
And like, but I mean, like, not to sound like I'm so cool. I'm Mr. Famous, but like I can't go.
No, I know exactly.
I can't go to the mall
without seeing someone. Yeah, exactly.
Whether I want to see or not see them. That's different.
Yeah, it's like a good and bad thing. Sometimes it's like, oh hey, what's up, and then other times it's like, just.
Yeah. But no, but it's so I feel like it's something that
definitely, dude,
is definitely talked about though. It's definitely brought up. And
like if you're not aware of it, that's the problem. Like the problem is that you should just know.
And but I mean, it really doesn't entice me to.
Like fortunately, I don't have any personal friends that I know that have the problem with this. So
that's
like,
interesting. I don't really know so many direct people.
Yeah. Like I know, like friends of friends. Yeah.
Right. But I don't like no one I went to high school with has overdosed.
Right. Yeah.
Luckily,
same.
thank God. But I mean, I know like I've had classes with people that went to Tottville or whatever, and they're saying, or New Dorp, and they're like, oh yeah, 16 people.
That's great.
In their 2014.
Wow.
Like it's just like outrageous stuff, and it's just like just ruining, and not only are you ruining the kid's life, right? Because now they're dead, or at least in an addict and whatever. You're ruining their family's life and their friend's life. Like think about the mental state of someone that
the people like you're leaving behind. Like,
right? I mean, like people never come back from that type of stuff. So I mean, it's a sad thing that I wish we didn't have to talk about and we didn't have to see on the Staten Island Advance. I mean, I'm not a big Staten Island Advance person. I think it's very
I've been trying to
conservative.
They talk too much about Pete Davidson. Guys, Pete Davidson, he's an SNL guy. He's from Staten Island.
Listen, like
I don't know.
Like I wasn't personally offended about what Pete Davidson said.
I'm not really either. It's just the fact that
I mean, listen, I thought it was kind of fun. Like I thought it was funny because it was kind of true. Like it's.
Yeah, what do you say? Like he comes here to get his I just come to Staten. I just go back to Staten Island to get my drugs and then leave. Like like that's the only reason I come back.
Like
it's like all right, dude. Like I don't know.
Like he wasn't really being serious.
No, definitely not.
But he was addressing a situation that really does take place, and
it's serious, and he kind of made it kind of like a joke about it.
Yeah, I mean, right, but at the same time, like I feel like listen, if you can't just kind of accept the fact that these issues exist,
Uh-huh.
then we're never going to get forward.
Right.
We're never going to progress and solve the issues. And, you know, going back into tying this back into my business life,
Right.
you know, and my career, and I've dealt with so many small business owners that just don't see that
The bigger picture.
the problem is the problem. Instead, they say, no, it's this person. Well, no, maybe it's just the fact that the sink is busted, or you know, if the sink was fixed, Sally wouldn't be mad at you, right? And she would be less frustrated and do her job a lot better. And so those types of people that just deny that.
So people are aware of these things, but then they just pretend like they don't exist,
right?
Because they don't want anything to do with it,
right?
And it's like, oh, it's not me, it's not my kid, it's not my friend, so why should I?
I mean, if like I feel like
know.
if the only people that should have taken offense to that or to what he said is people that go out and help the community of Staten Island, which is not many people.
You know, so this is the thing with Staten Island. Even when I was at historic Richmond Town, it was never really supposed to be like what it is now. Like it was never. That's why, like, I think part of the reason why Staten Island never wanted to be part of the city, it was never supposed to be a city. Like years and years ago, especially you know, Highland Boulevard. It's like the biggest, most busiest street on the island. That was because when my dad was even here in like or like 80s, not like something like that, the 70s. It was all woods. It was all woods, and now you have like all businesses and houses and other stuff. Even my block, it used to be a dead end block, and now you have like just like a bunch of houses and stuff. And we used to be like one of the only few people there, us and like a few others. Very quiet place, and now you know there's people everywhere. So Staten Island was never supposed to be like this. Like I said, at historic Richmond Town, the girl was telling me how, you know, it was mostly woods, mostly trees, and it wasn't big enough to sustain this amount of people that it has now. But you see, the thing is, and that's why I get annoyed when like we're still building and people are still building here, and it's a problem. You know, so Staten Island, it's hard to explain it. I love it. You know, I love it. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if I live here forever.
Yeah, definitely not. But
I'm.
It's not a bad place to be.
I mean, I'm proud to say that I'm from Staten Island.
So am I. Yeah.
And you know what? Like, listen.
Some of my best friends I've ever known are here.
Right.
You know,
and I mean, everywhere has their problems. I mean, you say, "Oh, I'm from Manhattan." All right, if you go to Manhattan, like, you see how dirty it's gotten, right? And like, that sounds like, oh, you know, the kid from the suburbs saying the city is dirty. I'm in the city all the time. I work in Manhattan.
It's basically our home too, you know.
Right. Yeah. Like, but at the same time, it's you know, every place you go has their own issues, and you know,
you just kind of have to like.
Not to say one's better than the other. I mean, I definitely had a great childhood growing up here.
Same. I did too. Yeah, I've had a lot. You know, a lot of people I've known have moved away, like, especially like in my neighborhood. But you know, thankfully, kind of, you know, social media, good and bad thing, right? But the good thing about it is I've always been able to stay in touch with like old friends and stuff.
Right.
And it's great.
Right.
You know. Yeah. But
Staten Island, come check us out. The Staten Island ferry is free.
It is. So you hop on the ferry and it's like you're in the.
Right from Lower Manhattan. It's a little bit hard to get around. I feel like we should do just a podcast on the transportation.
Oh, we probably will, because we have a train system here, but it's only along the
East Coast.
The east, yeah, like
the eastern.
Right, like the train doesn't go all around the island; it just goes like along the bottom side, like near kind of near like Highland. Yeah, and that's tough for people, you know. Like some people don't because usually people are taking the ferry to get to St. George to get to Manhattan because of work and stuff. But if you live in like what's a good example? Like Port Richmond.
It's great.
It's the complete opposite side of where the train is. So to get to the ferry, you pretty much have to drive or take a cab or a bus, and sometimes even the buses aren't always like.
Right. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I live right off Forest Avenue.
And I'm lucky enough that I'm like only a 2-minute drive from the ferry.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
10-minute drive, but.
Like I take the 98. Boom.
I have a bus that goes right there too. Yeah, like, yeah.
It's really no problem, but there are a lot of people that aren't.
One thing about Staten Island, which is like, I'll make this short. We have we have like North Shore, South Shore, right? And the thing
we're definitely gonna do a whole.
We will talk about that. But one thing I'll mention, and like I said, we're gonna save this for another time. But Staten Island, we should all be like this, right? But we have this North Shore and South Shore, and it's kind of like like Civil War almost. You know what I mean? Like people talk about like, oh fuck that side. Oh, I'm from the South Shore. Those North Shore kids, and it's like no, like I said, it's literally like Civil War. Like we should be helping each other out. It's one island, one Staten Island, one Shaolin.
This
not
is
a North and South.
Interesting view because I only know you that. I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, I think you're the first person that brought it to my attention that it should be this. I mean, personally, me, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. I'm definitely pro North Shore because that's where I'm from, but I couldn't agree with you more. But no, I think that's
don't
the
get me
first
wrong.
time
I like
someone
living in
has
the North
said
Shore
that.
better, but
like I feel like that's the first time someone said that, like on camera. I think so.
It might
I think
be,
so
man.
because, like, you're right. Like, there's just so much
it's just
like
stuff that doesn't get
hatred,
addressed.
like,
yeah,
for no reason. And like, listen, I get it. Like, when I used to go up to the bars on Forest, like, I don't go anymore because, like.
You also get kids that are like 18 years old with these fake IDs and like.
Well, I mean, I was 18 years old.
Okay, well.
I was like 16 years old.
Wow.
But
I would never have been able. Look, I just shaved recently. I could grow like a little.
Yeah.
And I look like I'm back in high school now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
And so imagine how I looked then. I would have never have stood a chance with a fake ID.
No, but then I got Ronnie from the Jersey Shore stepping in, like so arrogant and like just not what we're about. Like I have no problem with you coming over here to the North Shore at all.
Yeah.
If you're gonna behave yourself and not act like an asshole, which
I agree. Was at the door?
No, it's not. Which like 97, like I said before, they roll up in their BMW, they slam vodka sodas,
right,
and
right.
then they fucking drunk drive home, again, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's all of the South Shore people.
Right.
However, the South Shore people that I've encountered.
Right, like
for the majority,
some of them are different.
Not
because we grow up differently,
The majority of them do that.
Right. So like and like I said, there's definitely I see why there's sometimes tension between the different sides of the island, but in the end, I feel like it's time we just come the fuck together and just realize.
Right, but I think
we're one island. I don't know.
I think what would be a contributing factor to that would be that I think the needs of the people on the South Shore are very different than the needs of the people on the North Shore, which is something that you see in just across this country period. Is like it's amazing how we could just pass one bill. I feel like I say this all the time, right? We could pass one bill and it could be so great for people in New York. And not very good for people.
You see, that's a good example. Nebraska. You see, if we're like divided like this, just on Staten Island, so imagine how, and like just
14 miles
the whole
long.
So exactly, like so a 14-mile long place. There's division, and so just imagine how the whole country is right now. And it's true.
I feel like it is like a mini representation of.
It kind of is, dude.
The country as a whole. But we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I just wanted to say one thing. So basically, I used to do valet. That's how I met his band partner. I hated ballet. That's how I met his band partner, James Arlo, one night, because he works, he'll sometimes play guitar
Right.
at this restaurant, and I was working there that one night. That's how I met him, and ultimately, that's how I met my man, Brian, yeah. And, you know, if that never happened, you know, sometimes things just work out that way, right? If I
Right,
never
I
had
mean-
that job, we wouldn't be sitting here right now doing this show. But, you know, man, thank you for inviting me over.
No, thank you.
This has been my first episode of Actually Anything. There'll be more to come. Brian will be back for more. We'll probably do maybe episodes at my house, different locations. When the weather gets warmer, we'll be outside.
We're definitely
but-
do a behind the scenes at Eggers one.
Yes, we will. So thank you guys for watching. This is Actually Anything. Take it easy.